Hello, Adele Bates here, behaviour and education specialist, keynote speaker and author of Miss I Don't Give a Shit, Engaging with Challenging Behaviour in Schools, proving that I live by the seaside having some last autumn rays. So in this video I wanted to talk about consistency. It is a topic that always comes up when I am supporting people with behaviour. So how do we actually do it, and how consistent is consistent, and how useful is that? So first of all, before we go into any of that, I want to talk about what do we want to be consistent with. And I think this is a really important question. In my book, Miss I Don't Give a Shit, I talk about my 3 non-negotiables, and they're slightly different to rules, because for me, a rule is something that is absolutely set in stone. For me, thou shalt not kill, for example. And they are immovable. And for me, in the classrooms, in schools, it's really useful for us to have boundaries and frameworks. But if we stick at something 100% in a way that, for example, a rule might be thought to, then actually we can become quite unstuck. So the example I give in the book is, let's say you decide you have silence during the register. Okay, apart from when they answer their name, there's always one smart ass. And you keep that all the time, and you say to the students that, anyone who speaks during the register, automatic detention. Fine. But what do you do that day where Subotka has a nosebleed and Sarah gets her tissue out and gives it to her and they talk? Are we really going to punish Sarah and Subotka? Are we going to punish Sarah for giving her friend a tissue? Are we going to punish Subotka for having a nosebleed? No, it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. But does that mean we're not then being consistent? Does that mean we're letting some pupils get away with things that we're not with others? And these are the kind of debates that go round and round and round. So for me, when it comes to consistency, firstly, yes, it's really important. And especially for young people with behaviour needs, with SCMH, social, emotional, mental health issues, consistency is absolutely key. For some of them, particularly those ones in care, for example, ones with challenging home lives, they may not have any other form of consistency apart from at home. And we know, as human beings, that consistency makes us feel safe. And when those routines and boundaries are lost, for example, during a lockdown, that we can all go a little doolally. So how do we actually do it in the classroom? I really advocate the 99.9% rule. So in that sense, I mean, in that register that we've just taken, I say to the students, I expect silence during the register unless you're answering your name. And I keep that 0.01% for the times when that isn't actually possible. Because I'm not going to give Sarah and Subotka a detention. And if any of the pupils come and say to me, but they spoke during the register and that's your rule, I'm able to say yes, and what else was going on? What context was going on? What was going on for those people? And what I've discovered, more than anything, is that actually pupils are better at understanding adaptability and flexibility than adults are. And there is a neurological reason for this. As adults, our neuron patterns have been way more set for a much longer amount of time. So it's harder for us to be flexible. So yes, consistency is absolutely useful. And this is something that Paul Dix talks about in his book. It's consistency of kindness. It's consistency of being a human. When I take that register and the nosebleed happens, I am still consistently a human. I am alive and ready for what's happening in my class, what's actually happening, rather than some kind of arbitrary rule that was made by somebody else in an office 3 years ago for a behaviour policy. I'm using that behaviour policy, I'm staying within it, and I'm being consistent in the fact that I am a human teacher teaching human children. And this is what can be really useful for supporting behaviour in your classrooms. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If this has been interesting, if you want more support for yourself or your staff, then do get in contact with me and bring me in. My website is adelbateseducation.co.uk. Thank you.